Welcome back to the Women Think Bigger channel. Today we have a reading that is particularly interesting if you want to grow your audience, reach more people, and just overall have more impact in your business. We are going to be looking at how to increase your magnetism in business. So maybe the things that are going to come up have to do more with the business strategy, or maybe we'll see things that are more personal to you as a founder that you can do to increase the magnetism. We'll see what comes up. As you know, these readings are meant to complement your business strategy and use your intuition to help you grow your business. So always just take what resonates and obviously leave the rest. So to choose your pile today, you can choose between the cards that are calling to you or the crystals. We have rose quartz, we have zebra jasper for group 2, and then we have pyrite for group 3. So take some time to tune in with your intuition, pick your pile, and I'll see you in your dedicated pile. Welcome group 1 if you have chosen the rose quartz for your reading. As you know, today we're going to be looking at how to increase your magnetism in business. So how to make sure that your offers, your services, and your products reach as many people as possible, and especially an aligned audience. So we're going to also look at how to reach more sales in an effortless way. That's also the energy. We want to look at magnetism in the sense also of something more effortless, but that has a bigger impact. So as usual, I always keep this card as a vinyl complementary and closing message. And we're going to be pulling from 2 decks today. So for the first deck, oops. Okay. I saw the cards, so I'll just keep it in mind. But I don't like to see the cards before the reading starts, so I put it back. So we're going to see what is the overall energy of how to be more magnetic. We're going to see what is the theme for you that is going to allow you to be more magnetic. And then we're going to see any further guidance. Okay, so I'll take this one. So the first card is really going to be about what is the thing you need to focus on. And then you'll see second card is additional guidance to leverage it. So I'm gonna grab also from this deck that it's a money focused deck, but I think it's gonna be relevant. So first, how can you be magnetic? What is the central theme that you need to focus on? And then what is the guidance? Okay. This one. Okay, so let's see. What is the thing that is gonna make you more magnetic? I mean, when I say more magnetic, I mean the business, obviously. So well, let's see. Okay. Love who you are. Okay. I think the theme here is going to be obviously loving yourself as a business owner, doing all this inner work of valuing yourself. But since this is a business focused reading, what I see is loving really what you're putting out there and loving the transformation that it has on people. So the theme here is going to be about expressing, or how can we say that? It's going to be about showing your love for the products and how people are loving the products. So maybe sometimes, we write copywriting to explain to customers how this product or this service is going to change their lives. But I think what's going to increase the magnetism here is to show more of that part. It doesn't have to be just plain copywriting. It needs to people need to feel it more, that how much you love your products and how much people love their products or what you're offering based on the feedback that you're receiving. So I think it has to do more with expressing it, or so that people can feel it, then rather than just doing some basic, I mean, not basic, but you know what I mean, like marketing and copywriting. um I'm getting this need also. Actually, it's funny that the rose quartz is here, because it's all about loving oneself and showing like love. So yeah, I think there might be a lack of passion, not because you're not loving what you do, but maybe people, they don't know much about your history with this, with this product, with the services. Maybe the why you started this business and all these things. I think it can really increase the magnetism, because people are going to be more drawn to what is conveying in terms of emotions. So let's see what else is the theme. Mend the flow. Mend the flow. I'm also getting that this is actually not hard to reach. There could be a limiting belief coming from yourself to think that increasing your magnetism is going to require more efforts, with more time posting things, more content, like more logistics of, being present. And I think maybe this limiting belief has like held you back a little bit from, you know, um, from being more magnetic, because automatically you think it could be, more heavy. And maybe you have done this association of, if I want more people, then I need to do more and just post more. And maybe part of you is kind of, already pushing back on all of that. So I think there is something here about, really, for you, you're going to increase your magnetism not by working harder on the marketing. I think the key here is a shift in terms of strategy. Instead of just posting more in terms of, how many times you share, how many times you show up and, talk about your products, I think the angle is going to be a more personal one, about how you came to love the products, why you love it so much, why does it matter to you, which is the transformation with the butterfly that it had on you on your journey. you know the kind of the classic topics of, when we talk about the why of a business, but with a subtle twist, because here we really need to show more like emotions. It needs to be more felt. I think that's really the guidance. People need to feel and understand from an emotional perspective how it has helped you and how it can help them, and this really genuine connection that you have with your offers. So I think this is the angle, and then it's not going to be hard, in terms of um, visibility is not something that is going to cost you a lot of hard work. I think it can kind of flow easily for you. So let's see what additional guidance we have. Fail abundantly. I'm getting with this card that part of, I was saying here to talk about your personal story. I think somehow your business has to do with a transformation that, you went through. And a lot of times where maybe you failed at something, whether, it was something you missed in the past or something you lacked, it could be anything, it could be, I don't know, if you have a coaching business, it can be like talking about the times where you didn't feel confident or you didn't have clarity. If you have a product based business, it can be all the times that, you were trying things, but they were not fitting, and this is why you created the product. So I think this card speaks to that, to your personal story of the times you failed. Um, but it's not just, failing. It's more like all the tests and learn that you went through, all the times where maybe you felt like you weren't getting something or you didn't reach your goals. Like I think this is really related to the personal history, and because this card is right underneath, I think it's really connected to that. It's talking more deeply, just like you would talk, to really a best friend, instead of just having a polished speech for an audience, like really being more sincere with the audience and explaining like why you love your product or your services so much and where do they come from in terms of your personal story. And I'm also getting maybe be a little bit more vulnerable about it because, sometimes we don't want to go too deep into what we went through because we're afraid that people won't take us seriously or as an authority figure now that, we're trying to promote something. And I think, on the contrary, it can really help you connect more with the audience, being more honest about what you went through and why you're able to also help them right now. It's not just because you're more qualified, it's because emotionally you've learned to navigate at certain things. And it's the same for a product-based business. It's like going deep into why you love what you do so much and what has happened in the past that led you to this path. And I think it's gonna really, you know, draw a lot of people to your business, to your products without again necessarily doing so much more. Let's see what additional guidance. Sacred stillness. I'm only getting here from this card the importance of water. Again, we have water twice on those cards. So this is really also about healing a belief with sacred stillness that it's gonna cost you hard work to be more magnetic and more visible, and maybe even you think that you have to become someone else to promote yourself more, or to be different, to reach a different audience, etc. I think here, this person is really calm, very grounded, and I think it's a confirmation of you're gonna reach more people in an effortless way once you're just share a bit more of you and your story and the emotional part, and things are gonna flow. Like you don't need to either become someone else or post so much more or do so much more, share so much more, just to focus only on the numbers and the algorithm and the consistency. And yeah, it's also safe, to be more vulnerable with your audience, because this is what really connects people to the products. It's not just the technical details and the expertise. It's also people connect with us on an emotional level, and I know this is something that you probably know and can sound basic, but sometimes we forget, that even though there are hundreds of business coach, or there are hundreds of I don't know, different products, business in the same niche, like people crave human connections. And sometimes there's an oversharing on social media, but sometimes people just want to understand why you started certain things, and this is why they admire, this is why they want to work with you. So I think the key here is changing that. Maybe a part of you thinks that your personal story could be a liability sometimes because you're worried that people won't take you seriously if they know that you had a hard time with certain things that now you're trying to sell. But on the contrary, it's going to do the opposite. It's going to be like this honesty and this uh, authenticity that is going to really, change the way people look at you, and they're going to love you, even more for sharing your story, for sharing how much you love your products, how much you love your offers, why is it so dear to your heart? I think that sums up the message. You need to speak more about why this project is so dear to your heart, whether you want to share about the whole history, which I highly recommend, or if you want to just talk more about the transformation that you've seen on people, all these things. But it needs to be, yeah, rose quartz, like the heart, and the emotion needs to be the focus of your strategy in this case. Let's see what we have as a final message. Just trust. Yeah, I'm getting that you need to trust that it's safe to talk about your personal history with these projects and all the times that you failed. And this animal is, I forgot the name, but it's blind. And once you were kind of lost at some point, or you had an idea, you didn't know where to start. Like sometimes entrepreneurship starts after, a big life change that is kind of a tower moment that is not necessarily nice, but then it leads us to so much more. And I'm getting that at some point you were in that situation where you didn't really know, what was going on, but you needed a change, you needed to do something for yourself. And, you know, even without seeing too much, you just trusted the process. And people need to see also that process to connect even more with the products, the services, the offers. Like they need to understand where the seed, of all this project came from, sorry. That is gonna, and this is what is gonna create a really, really strong connection to the brand. So, and also again, just trust that it's safe to do so. You don't need to overshare. You don't need to tell things about your personal life that you don't want to. There is always, a middle ground. Like trust your judgment. Obviously, don't start talking about things you don't want to talk about. But again, yeah, there's like the whole reading is just confirming what the rose quartz is all about. Is there needs to be again connection, like there needs to be something that is more felt than just standard marketing. And because entrepreneurship is so personal in that case, I think it's really important to talk about all these times that it wasn't necessarily easy, or what are the challenges that led you to create what you're creating, because things are going to start to flow. And I'm also getting with the sacred stillness that it's going to give you peace to allow yourself to be more seen in this new light. Like at the beginning, it could freak you out a little bit to start talking about, personal things a little bit more. But then it's going to be so peaceful because you're going to feel that people that are buying from you, they know you on a deeper level, and you're going to feel like it helps your confidence as well because they know exactly why they choose you and why they choose your products. And I'm getting this kind of image with a balance where you think you're gonna have to sell more, but actually people are just gonna come and ask for your products more, without you even like trying to sell more or to promote yourself more. So this is the guidance. I hope this is resonating for the business. If you feel called to share, maybe as a mini exercise, again, only if it resonates, you can put in the comments like why you started, your business, or what is the thing that made you want to be an entrepreneur. It would be so nice to know a little bit about your story, but in any case, just trust that again your audience is ready for it, and it's going to be quite effortless. So I think it's a pretty cool thing, to think that your brand is going to grow without you having to hustle harder. So this is the message. I hope this is resonating. I'm sending you lots of love and lots of success for your business. And I see you very soon in another intuitive reading. Welcome, group 2, if you have chosen the zebra jasper for today's reading, which is all about how to increase your magnetism in business. So we're going to see what comes up for you. I always leave this card as a final closing message, and we're going to start to see first what is the overall energy and what is the theme? What is the key theme for you to increase your magnetism? Like, what is the focus to reach more people in your audience in a less effortless way, let's say? What is the additional guidance? Okay, I'm also gonna grab from this deck. It's more about the money, but it's relevant in this case. So, what is the theme for you? And what is the guidance? So let's see, because some very interesting things came up for group 1. So I'm curious to see what is the theme for your group. Let's see. Practice curiosity. Okay. This is interesting. I'm getting a lot of ideas with this card. I was gonna wait to see this one, but I'll just share what I'm feeling. So first of all, there's a lot of blue in this card, which makes me think of the throat chakra. And with curiosity, I feel like one of the things that can increase the magnetism in your business is to speak more about things or topics that you initially didn't think that the audience would be interested in. So that's kind of interesting. Because with a lot of blue, it's really, I think there's something about what you're saying. Like, it's really clear that it's about the throat chakra, I think. And with curiosity, I think that maybe there have been some, it's either things that you've wanted to say but you didn't necessarily, said them, or it's either a way of communicating that you haven't tried before. So if you have been thinking recently of opening a new channel to promote your services or your offers, whether it's, I don't know, a YouTube channel or a Substack or Pinterest, like any kind of platform to share your voice, I think this is a strong encouragement that this can really help you, because I think there is something about experimenting again, either with different topics that actually your audience is gonna really love, or different platforms that can open so many things for you. So there's an element of curiosity, and I think if this file is gonna resonate, this is something that you have already thought about, but it's not necessarily something that you have taken action on. And I think this is the key theme for you. It's something about what you share and where you share, where you need to experiment. And it could be anything. It could be either, topics that are not directly related to your products, but they could be more about, your day-to-day life, or they could be more about the behind the scenes of the business that you want to share, but you don't know if people want to hear it, or maybe about what's coming next, collaboration, what you're going through. Like, I'm getting it has to do more with, what we call the behind the scenes, which is your own internal, processes with a business. Um, but it could be also topic, because I feel like the two things, it could be also things that, it's like kind of sharing your thoughts on topics. I don't know, let's say that most of you obviously are entrepreneurs, so maybe talking about, how you see entrepreneurship, or what is the lifestyle that you aspire. Like, I'm getting that this is not something that is directly related to what you're selling. It's more related to either your own personal process of how you come up with this offer, and then also your point of view as this person running the business, if that makes sense. So really, throat chakra is the key here. And experimenting, it could be as well, again, if you have been thinking of exploring different platforms, whether, or writing more, like there is something here about it's gonna draw more people into your business doing that. Let's see what we have again for the team. Okay. I love this confirmation. Storyteller. Okay. It's really about storytelling, but not, the classical storytelling of, I don't know. I think sometimes it's a bit overrated, the elevator pitch, and like, sometimes the word storytelling in marketing is overused. I'm getting this is like more sincere. It's like, what is the story behind, what's going on in the business? Or it's like talking about what are your thoughts? Like maybe you felt like you wanted to share a bit more again of your day to day, or of how you see certain things, or your lifestyle, or the relationship you have with your clients, or like really everything that gravitates around the business. Sharing more of that through stories, I think people are gonna love it. And maybe you haven't done this before because you think the audience only wants to hear about the products, and maybe you're afraid that, they're gonna, let's say, be less engaged or less interested where when you share your point of view. But actually, this is something that is gonna really increase the magnetism and the audience, because people are gonna be curious again about, who you are. And actually, I really feel like an energy of, this animal has a crown, it's a fox. Like, I really feel I'm getting the word admiration. I think people are gonna really look up to you, not because they see you as perfect, like that's not what I'm saying in any kind of way, but they're gonna admire you because they're gonna they're gonna see themselves in you, and they're gonna be really interested in having you as a kind of role model, not just to satisfy the ego, but more, to just be inspired about, someone that it's someone that they connect to, someone that is human as well. Like there's this element of, you sharing a bit more of the behind the scenes. It always makes people, more connected. But I think people are also interested in what you think, because they might, have the same point of view on certain things, or not directly related to what you're selling or what you're offering. So I think this is a pretty clear theme. So yeah, speaking about your internal processes, or your thoughts on life, your views, the stories, or try different platforms to do so. You know, maybe if you feel like, okay, I don't want to mess up with my audience on Instagram, maybe you can open a Substack and share your thoughts. You know, if you're an artist, or your internal processes, or if you are, I don't know, a coach, maybe opening a Substack and talk about, you know, how you deal with, um, you know, with the lifestyle of being a coach and how you navigate pricing and your clients. Like, uh, I'm getting the image of, you know, someone looking just at your brain and and seeing what there is. So this content shouldn't be with a selling purpose, let's say. I think that's a clear guidance. It's not to sell more. Like, the ultimate idea is not to sell more, it's more to share more stories, practice the throat chakra, opening new platforms, so that people are drawn, you know, to you, to the manifesto, let's say, of the business, or the beliefs that the business also incarnates, let's say. So it's not just sharing with the idea of, okay, this video is going to help me sell something. It's quite the opposite, actually. It should be neutral and with the sole purpose of sharing more of you, telling more stories about everything else around the business. So let's see what else we have as a guidance. Unfold your own myth. I love when the cards, you know, kind of just go in the same direction. So it's your own myth. Like, this is about, and it says unfold. Like, this is about, you know, this is a shell. It's like kind of closed. This is about opening up and your own myth. I don't know, where's the guidebook. Oh, I have it here. I'm gonna read the card to you, because this card, I think for me, it's also about sharing, you know, our thoughts on life, and, you know, our kind of like special point of view on life, on what's possible, on what we do. Like, there's something about showing, you know, our own personal history that maybe sometimes is unique as well. And there's this element of showing more of that. I'm gonna grab the guidebook to read the card, because I think it's really relevant to just read it for context. Okay. Don't settle for other stories. So we have the story twice. Or the tales of how it went for those who took the path before you. No one has ever lived on this planet with your particular thoughts, dreams, skills, or specific genius. The magic inside you is one of a kind. Use it to unfold the truest and most beautiful version of yourself. It doesn't need to look like anyone else's magic, just your own. I think this is so clear. Like, this is also about your thoughts on the world, you know, your unique personality, your unique story, and that's what people are going to be interested in. And we have really thoughts here. So I feel like when it says the magic inside of you, it's like showing more of you is gonna really help the brand. And again, it's more about the thoughts, what you went through, what you go behind the scenes. I'm not getting that this is just filming, you know, you having a coffee on the morning, unless you having a coffee in the morning and reflecting on maybe the day to the week that has passed, or the day to come. Like, you know, something that it's not to sell, but it's not to say nothing either. You know, it's not just to film yourself, you know, just getting dressed. It's really more about your unique point of view on life. And I'm also getting a sense of you have this unique belief that certain things are possible in life. And I think I was getting the admiration before because I think people are also going to look up to you because they're going to see someone else that has those same beliefs and this kind of expanded mind that, thinks a lot of things are possible. I'm also getting this kind of dreamy star energy in the sense that you go for bigger things that maybe people, are afraid of. And maybe you have been a little bit scared to say it publicly because you don't want people to think that you're delusional. But your unique way of seeing things is going to draw a lot of people to the business. So, such a clear guidance. Let's see what we have here. The student. Yeah. I'm getting that people are gonna learn from you with this student card. It's not, I think this is not you, it's more the energy of what you have to say is going to help people understand also certain things, or they're gonna learn from you with this student energy. They're not, it doesn't mean that, you're gonna be their unique mentor, or that you have to pretend like you have so much more experience than you have, but people are really going to learn from your stories, or maybe it's even unconscious, but maybe people are gonna see themselves in your story, and when you're gonna share a personal reflection, it's gonna have this mirror effect of they're gonna be like, oh, I went through the same, like, oh my god, like I understand, this as well. Or the behind the scenes are gonna see you struggle with, I don't know, finances of the business, and you're gonna share more of that, and they're gonna be like, okay, I want to learn as well because I have the same issue, things like that. So just share more of what you want to share, but something that has to do with your opinions, your views, not just for the sake of selling, let's say. So throat chakra is the key. Um, let's see what final message we have. Better than you can imagine. There is even more blue here. Yeah, I was saying before that I think you have this vision of, things being possible, this very, very positive energy to you, that people could think it's delusional, but it's genuine and sincere. It's not just toxic positivity, it's that you believe that things are possible. And even though sometimes you struggle, as we all do, but there is this kind of lightness and positive energy to you. And you truly believe that things can be good and better than we can imagine. And I think people also want that, they also want this energy either to keep them motivated, or because this is the energy that you put out there and people really need it, whether this is translated then to a product and it gives them a specific energy, or if it's a service where you coach them or you offer something, like people need this energy of positivity as well, or of a unique perspective on the world. Like, I think there's a lot of things that they can learn from you. So yeah, don't this is really your guidance. You're going to increase the magnetism in your business by sharing more of stories, like whether it's personal, whether it's your thoughts on entrepreneurship, on the business, on what you're navigating, like your own myth, like your unique way of seeing the world. And zebra jasper, I'm just thinking of that now, but it's a stone of a lot of balancing things, and it's kind of a rare stone as well. So I'm getting that there's a lot of you that people can benefit from like your different in the best way, you know, like you don't think like everyone else, and I don't think you have this energy of just what's the word, it's not an energy that, you know, repels people because you're too blunt. I'm getting more soft and light energy, but with really something different, you know. There is, again, maybe you believe, you know, anything is possible, and this is why you've started this business. Maybe you believe that it's possible to reach this kind of financial goals in your business and things like that, and people need that positive energy and they need your perspective, and this is why they're gonna end up buying from you or hiring you, because they're gonna know more what you stand for. So I hope this resonated. um Let me know in the comments, those who picked up group 2, and let me know if you're already sharing a lot or not sharing at all. I'm always curious to see. I wish you lots of love and success for your business, and I see you very soon in another intuitive reading. Welcome, Pal 3, if you chose the pyrite for today's reading. The topic is all about how to increase the magnetism in your business in an effortless way to reach more people, a larger audience, and this is going to be today's theme. I already feel tuning in the energy that there's a kind of like fiery and restlessness that you're going through right now. I'm getting just like, you know, a lot of energy and energy of action. And I don't know why I'm also getting that you've been like posting a lot, or you've been sharing a lot on your business because you want to reach more people, but you don't know what is the angle to tackle. You know, I think you're just putting more things out there, but you're kind of maybe lacking clarity to know what is the right angle, or what should you talk about. But I'm getting this energy of like you've been either in the past or either now, like you've been pushing a lot of your offers, your services, to reach more people. So it's kind of interesting. Let's see what we have for you. So the first question is going to be, what is the big theme that is going to transform, let's say, all this effort that you've been doing to reach more people? And then we're also going to ask for guidance. I'm also going to grab from this business, sorry, it's not business and money deck. So what is the, one more time, what is the team? Yeah, I'm getting that even like, you know, when I'm shuffling, like there's like a lot of energy. It's like a lot wants to come through as well. Let's see additional guidance. I think you've been doing so much, but it's not really like hitting the goal for some reason. Now let's see what is the team. Our group 3. Okay, so for the first card we have flaunted. Okay, so peacock energy. So it's, yeah, it's again, I think you're like shining, like you're, the first message is you are putting yourself out there right now. Like you are doing the work of being visible, clearly. So you're very close to, you know, really being way more magnetic with your business. But with the flaunted card, I feel like I think the key is that you've been putting yourself out there, but not fully owning the message or the, how do I say that? I feel it has to do a lot more with the energy that you show up than what you're saying. I think the team has it's gonna be confidence, and I was hesitating to say the word confidence because I don't think we need to fall into the habit of trying to be confident until we do certain things, but it's also important to show up with a certain energy when we want to convince people. And I think the thing that is going to increase your magnetism is working on this confidence when you show up for your brand. And I think in the life of entrepreneurship, this is something that we have to work on at different levels, different stages. I don't think we ever reach the point or absolutely 100% confident, but in your case, I'm getting that maybe in the past you were not visible as much. And so now it's a huge transition from not showing yourself at all to really putting yourself out there and really being authentic. And I think it takes a stretch, it takes an emotional strength to suddenly put ourselves out there and suddenly be authentic. And I feel that you need to keep on doing it because, let's say, like energetically, it's gonna catch up, if that makes sense. Like maybe right now, you're posting, you're maybe showing up on camera, but the energy of the confidence is not there yet, but it will arrive. Like there's an energetic gap that you need to breach to so that the fact of putting yourself out there has actually the impact that you want. So this is really about the energy and your own inner confidence, but I think you're really on your way there. So yeah, this is not about uh doing more, because I think you're already doing a lot, but it's more about working on this confidence, and I know this is such a hard topic because we fall so much into perfectionism as entrepreneurs that I don't want to tell you that you cannot show up yet, if you're not 100% confident. But I think, what's going to free you? I think it's accepting that you're not confident yet and that you're going to show up instead of forcing and trying to be confident on camera on with what you're saying. It's almost like, I think what's gonna free you, and it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not 100% confident, but me sharing more about what I do, like let's say that your internal goal doesn't become how many people, how many new subscribers, how many people like your content. Like you need to switch this internal goal to um this is gonna help you increase my confidence on the long run. So I think in the past, really, I'm getting really strongly that before you were not visible, or at least not in the way you wanted, and that something happened recently that you were like, okay, not anymore. I'm gonna put myself out there, and you have started to do so. But obviously, again, it's normal that we don't feel 100% confident. So the way you can adjust that, it's instead of putting goals of people, validating the fact that you put yourself out there with engagement or with subscribers, I think it's creating tension as well. So you can switch this inner goal and say, okay, now the goal is going to be doing that for a month so that I practice being confident with what I'm trying to offer with this new role or the things like that, like the inner goal has to be about, again, the energetics and the emotional part, like catching up with the momentum of the actions. And by doing that, instead of focusing on how many people are responding to you putting yourself out there, you're gonna really free up a lot of creative energy as well. Because, it's obviously hard when we don't see the engagement that we want, or we don't, we have this kind of low moments of motivation, or we can even question the fact of, is it really necessarily for me to be out there, because it's really requiring me, it's already requiring so much of me, and I don't see engagement, so maybe I shouldn't do it. I think the guidance here is no. Like, part of you is craving to be even more visible that you are right now. Like, part of you is craving to really, show so much more. And those people who share so much on social media, and I'm not saying we have to, but sometimes we also admire that they don't worry so much about what people say, or we kind of admire the fact that they talk freely about certain things. And I feel this is something you're craving. I'm not saying that your goal is to, film everything from your morning to your evening, but I think part of you wants to, is aspiring at least to be more free in the way you show up for your business, and, as well your personal life. So I think, yeah, you're already doing what is required to be more magnetic, but the energetics of how you're doing it, this is what needs to be adjusted. And the way you're going to feel a bit more light in doing that is by changing these inner goals, like focusing on, like, building a muscle. I think that's the best example I could use. It's like, instead of thinking, if we take, the sports example or fitness, instead of thinking, I'm gonna get this goal or run how many miles or kilometers by this distance with, this speed, it's more like, I'm gonna build the muscle of running. And in this case, it's like, instead of focusing on the engagement, the subscribers, the likes, the sales, it's like, I'm gonna build the muscle of the confidence, because it takes time. And this is also going to increase the magnetism, because there's going to be less tension around, the immediate results. So I'm getting really that this is the key. Shifting the energetics of how you're showing up out there. Let's see what else on the team. The Rogue. Okay. This card is also about things that could have been painful in the past, and I'm really getting this really, really clear feeling that in the past this was a very wounding topic for you, the fact of being not visible, not seen, not heard. Not in the sense that you didn't have status or things in your life, but I feel like it's going to depend the level of intensity for everyone watching, obviously, this group. But I would say that being visible is not a core wound, or being not invisible, I would say, has not been a core wound, that maybe this is not your reading, because I really strongly feel that, again, the level of intensity of the wound is gonna vary. And again, it doesn't mean that you've never, been seen, or you never had a great career. Like, it's not as obvious as that, but I think it's a more personal, intimate theme with, being seen, being heard. So it doesn't mean that you didn't have achievements in your life, or that this is something that has blocked you all your life, but somehow it has been a theme. That's the best way I can put it. It has been a theme at some point in your life, or maybe even now, to be more visible or be more authentic. It's requiring effort from you. And this is the thing, like, you also need to recognize that it takes it takes strength, it takes time, and it takes courage to go from, let's say, 0 to 100. And I think if you spend most of your life, not necessarily putting yourself out there, it's like going to 100 is, the nervous system needs to catch up. And with the pirate here, I feel like this is something you crave and you want, and also because you know that you have so much potential. Like, I don't think this is just ego driven. I think you know that you can really help people with your business, and that you're doing it from a very heart base. um it's something honest and true, and you want to share it. I feel it's almost something so personal. Like your business, it's something, it's always personal, but it means so much to you, for different reasons, but it means a lot. And it's requiring a lot from you. So it doesn't matter if you're starting in business or if it's been a few years. Like, the level of visibility that is required from you is like a giant step compared to what you've been doing in the past. So obviously there needs to be here a little bit of self-acceptance that it's kind of a stretch, and there is a wound, of not being visible that obviously needs healing. But this is why, focusing on building the muscle is going to be way more feasible for you as an approach, instead of just trying to, how we say, fake it till you make it. I think sometimes it's, the energy is a little off. It's better just to, you know, to do it, and then accepting that the momentum is building. Yeah. Let's see what additional guidance we have. Harvest the honey. Okay. There's a lot of purple as well here. So a lot of, as well, crown chakra energy and trusting. And I think one of the reasons that you really recently shifted to being more visible, it's because you know the potential of your business as well, like financially. You know that, and this is not in a bad way at all. Like, that you're like this close to harvesting the honey, because this feels, again, with the crown chakra, it for me it's a sign of like true alignment with your purpose. Like, this is something really not just that it is personal as a business, but it's like you've never felt so aligned with what you're doing in life. So you know that, because when we follow our passion, this is where, or our abundance lie. I think you know that this project has so much potential for profitability, for sales, like for something big. This is huge, like, let's say B, like, there is this potential of harvesting so much, because, again, for once in your life, it's like 100% of aligned with who you are. So it's coming from a very sincere place, this project and this business. And this is why you also want to be visible, because it's really honest, and you know that this is maybe something that you've always wanted to do. So now you're like, okay. And I'm also getting that, because this is something that is truly aligned, this is what gave you the strength to do the switch and become more visible, because you know that it's kind of meant to be, in the sense of you know that this is what you're supposed to do, and so it's less hard to take the risk to put yourself out there because you know intuitively that this is what you're supposed to do. But obviously, you know, our mind can freak out a little bit when we start changing too many things, and this is a confirmation that the project is going to work, that it has potential, and that, you know, you're going to harvest the honey. But you need to take it, let's say, easy on the confidence muscle, because you went from, again, I feel it's 0 to 100 in terms of how much you put yourself out there or how vulnerable you are. Or, you know, it's like, I feel like it's a stretch. And obviously there are like some visibility wounds that are like a little bit getting in the way sometimes. Let's see what additional guidance we have. The conduit. Okay. I'm getting with this card more like being, you know, again, softer, and, you know, the gentle energy of holding yourself through that process of becoming very confident and very, you know, yeah, well, you know, this kind of like leadership energy that you want to embody. I'm getting really the guidance of take it easy and hold yourself through that process, because it's not necessarily easy, but it doesn't mean that things are not going to happen before. So I'm also getting that one of the limiting beliefs that you could work on is, until I don't, you know, reach a certain level of confidence, nothing is going to happen in the business in terms of financial, because we have the harvest, in terms of finances and financial reciprocity. So, you know, to increase the magnetism, like keep on putting yourself out there, but don't make the engagement the target right now. Just build the muscle, knowing from a place of trust that, again, you know why you started this project, and holding yourself through that. I think it's also a very important quality as a leader to be gentle with ourselves. You know, it's so underrated, but being able to mother yourself or parenting yourself through all these changes um, is going to help you so much. So, and again, you're going to get the financial rewards. So it's just that I'm not even getting, you know what, that it's going to take time. I'm just getting that once you take off the tension from looking from the engagement, it's going to free up a little bit of the energy and things are going to start to come in. Also because you're putting a lot of effort, but from a place that is very aligned. Let's see what we have as final message for you. Face your fear. Yes, this is coming from a visibility wound, and there is a fear, obviously, of, you know, there's so many things with visibility. If you're interested in that topic, I have a podcast where I talk about that in an episode, and I actually wanted to create an entire mini series around visibility. So episode number 1 around healing wounds around visibility is out. So maybe you can check that out if that calls to you, because I think it could really help you. And the link is going to be in the description. But yeah, it's a fear of, you know what I'm getting? I feel like it's also a fear of what happens when I change my identity of someone that is confident. Like maybe sometime we don't want to look overconfident as well. I think this is kind of contradictory sometimes, but you know, on one side we want to look confident, and on the other side we don't want to be misunderstood for being too confident. And it requires an identity shift that maybe you're associating it unconsciously, but you're associating it more with negative things than positive things. Like on one side, yes, you know it's going to bring you more sales, but on the other side, there is a lot of resistance of what happens if I change this identity to someone that is crazy confident and, or at least someone that is, unapologetic. It's a better way to say it. And it's like, what's going to happen maybe with the perception that people have of me? Or am I going to feel like, I am too loud and I don't want to be loud? Are people going to say that, I just show off when, I don't have that much expertise, things like that. So yeah, it requires a level of identity change that you're right now associating to more negative things and positive things. And maybe this is something you can journal on, like what you don't want to happen if you're more confident and more visible. What are the things that you don't want and that maybe are holding you back? I think it could be a great journaling exercise. And also, again, if you want to listen to that podcast episode around healing wounds, and then other 2 episodes are going to come out, I think it could help you. So this is what I have for your intuitive reading. I hope this resonated, and I'm curious to know again if you recently made this shift or this decision of being more visible. Just let me know in the comments. If you want to share why, you can also share why. But again, I think this is there has been again a key turning point, which is leading you to being more magnetic, but you need to allow the energetics again to catch up with the momentum that you're putting on the action. So that's it for the reading. I wish you a lot of success in your business, a lot of courage to face those fears. I think it's really brave to work on those deep fears, because it's really gonna help the business. So yeah, this is what I have for your reading, and I see you very soon in another intuitive reading.